Dear Al, in the beginning before God, the noise and the names, after the applause and the shadows, there was only silence and a voice that called the world into being, a voice that spoke galaxies into motion and whispered your name before your first breath. That voice said, "Let there be life." And with it came a stage, not of wood and velvet curtains, but of time, dust and destiny, a stage vast as eternity, and upon it God placed his greatest creation, the human soul. You were sent here, not as an accident, not as a mistake, but as an artist. He placed you on the stage of life to perform a divine act, to reflect his glory, to reveal his love, to show what heaven looks like inside human skin. You were given a script written not on paper, but on the walls of your heart. Every heartbeat was a line, every tear a tone, every breath a verse, and heaven waited for your performance. But somewhere along the way, the lights dimmed. The applause of the world grew louder than the whisper of God. You forgot your lines. You chased the crowd instead of the Creator. You began to perform for eyes that never truly saw you. The world told you what success looks like. It handed you scripts full of lies. Be stronger, be richer, be perfect, be more. And you tried, didn't you? You danced for validation. You sang for approval. You painted your face with smiles when your soul was breaking. You became a performer, not an artist. The stage that was meant for worship turned into a war zone. The spotlight that once revealed your beauty now exposed your wounds. The applause you once sought became an echo that hollowed your heart. And in the silence between performances, when the world turned away and the curtain fell, you could feel it. That ache, that emptiness, that whisper of something greater. It was God's voice still calling you. Come back. Remember who sent you. But the enemy loves to steal identity. He steps into the wings of your mind and whispers, "You're a failure. Your performance doesn't matter. Your art will be forgotten." He paints fear across your thoughts and choreographs doubt into your steps. And you start to believe the lie, that your story is small, your life insignificant, your art meaningless. Yet in heaven's view, even the smallest brushstroke counts, even the trembling voice, the broken prayer, the unfinished melody, it all matters. Because God never asked for perfection, he asked for presence. You see, God is not looking for flawless performers, he's looking for faithful artists. The kind who still sing in the dark, who still move when the music fades, who still trust when the director seems silent. Every great artist must walk through the shadow before they can reflect the light. Every masterpiece is born from struggle, from pressure, from fire, from surrender. So if you're standing in the middle of the stage, unsure of your purpose, surrounded by chaos, don't walk off yet. The scene isn't over. The director is still writing. Some of the greatest acts of your life will happen when no one's watching. When you lift your eyes in prayer and whisper, "God, I can't do this," that's the moment heaven leans in. That's when the divine spotlight returns. Because true art begins where self ends. When you stop performing for the crowd and start performing for the Creator, everything changes. Your failures become brushstrokes of grace. Your scars become lines of poetry. Your pain becomes the rhythm of redemption. And suddenly, your life, your messy, unpolished, raw, real life, becomes a gallery for God's glory. You were never meant to impress the audience. You were meant to express the artist. Every morning when the sun rises, it's God saying, "The show continues." Every breath you take is another chance to perform with faith. Every act of kindness, every prayer in secret, every moment of forgiveness. It's all part of the masterpiece he's crafting through you. But make no mistake, art demands surrender. It requires trust. When the paint bleeds, when the sculpture cracks, when the melody breaks, that's when you must remember, The hands that shaped you are still holding you, and they know how to turn brokenness into beauty. The enemy may mock your performance, but he cannot rewrite your script. He may try to dim your light, but he cannot cancel your calling. Because the author of your story has already declared the ending, victory. There will be nights when you doubt your worth, moments when your prayer feels unheard, times when you look at the canvas of your life and see only chaos. But trust me, from heaven's view, that chaos is becoming color. That confusion is forming design. That mess is turning into meaning. When you finally step back and see what God has been doing, you'll realize the cracks were where the light entered. The storms were where your roots deepened. The tears were where the reflection of His love became clearest. You are not performing alone. All of heaven is your audience. The angels stand in awe every time you choose faith over fear. Every time you rise again after falling, the heavens applaud, and the Lord Himself, the great artist, smiles, because He sees not just what you are, but what you're becoming. He sees the final act. He knows how your pain will birth purpose, how your weakness will reveal His strength, how your scars will shine brighter than your trophies. So keep performing, not for applause, but for alignment. Not for fame, but for faithfulness. Not for the fleeting crowd, but for the eternal King. And when you stumble, and you will, don't quit. Remember, the greatest performances are not perfect, they're honest. God's grace covers the forgotten lines, the missed cues, the tears behind the mask. He weaves them into the script and turns them into the scene that touches hearts. Maybe you think your art is small, but remember the firefly. Its light may be tiny, but it shines enough to guide someone through the night. In the same way, your faith, no matter how faint, might be the light that saves another soul from darkness. So shine, sing, write, pray, love, forgive, create. Even when no one claps, even when no one sees, heaven does. And when your final curtain falls, when the stage of this world grows quiet and the lights dim, you'll stand before the one who sent you here, the true director, the eternal artist. And He will say, "Well done." Not "well done for being perfect," but "well done for being faithful." Well done for trusting when it made no sense. Well done for using your pain to paint my glory. And as you stand there, surrounded by the music of eternity, you'll realize the performance was never about proving your worth. It was about revealing His. Every act of your life, every prayer, every fall, every rise, it was all part of His masterpiece. The applause of heaven will echo forever, and your art, your life, will be remembered not because it was flawless, but because it was surrendered. So today, take your place on the stage again, lift your head, step into the light, and perform not as the world expects, but as heaven designed. Because God has sent you here as an artist on the human stage, and how you live, how you love, how you trust, that is your art. And long after your voice has faded, long after your feet have left the stage, your art, your faith, your fire, your truth will echo in the hearts of generations to come. You were not born to blend in. You were born to illuminate. You were not sent to entertain. You were sent to awaken. You were not created to mimic the world. You were created to mirror heaven. So perform, artist of God. The stage is yours, and eternity is watching. Every click is more than support. It's a spark of faith shared with the world. Like, comment, subscribe. Be part of spreading God's power.